Welcome.
All right, we're back.
We're back for episode 3.
Episode 3.
And that means more pod.
Yep.
That's episode 3, more pod.
Oh, I wish we could have done better than that.
That's until we do. That's what it's going to be.
All right, episode 3, more pod.
Uh-huh.
See, if it was episode 4, we could have gone with a new pope.
New pope? Yeah. Nobody cares about that, though, for
That's
the most
probably
part.
true.
So, welcome again for your third time. Our third time. I'm Greg.
I'm Austin.
And this is the Fill in the Blank podcast.
Life after film school.
It happened.
We did it.
It did it right.
We got it right. All right.
So, before we even do our rundown, I need to apologize for saying that Pirates Band of Misfits was CGI because it's not.
It's not.
And so
if you saw the enhanced podcast, you saw that we caught that right after.
We did catch it when we were making the enhanced version, but we're not into it enough to go ahead and fix it during recording.
Well, no. That's part of this.
That's true.
You get the stream of consciousness.
Yeah.
Although I was upset by it last time, but now I feel better knowing that it.
I feel better about the movie as well. I'm like, oh well, it's fine then. So so it looks like maybe Aardman's doing both.
Yes.
They're trying a little bit of
and
this and a little bit of that.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yep. Good for you guys.
All right. So today's show topic is student films. We got lots to say about that. Then we're gonna have a couple new segments.
That's right. I'm gonna have a new segment today called Working Actors.
And then I'm gonna come in. And now, by the way, this show is enhanced with jingles.
Jingle enhanced, yes.
Yes. And
let's hold off. I'm not sure if we totally call it enhanced, but it is.
It's true. There are jingles.
There are jingles.
and there may in the future be a jingle that replaces Tex and Diego. We did one, wasn't good enough for us to enjoy, which is hilarious when you hear these ones. You're going to be like, wait a minute, one of them was worse?
Yes, you're going to be like, what? You put these on the air, what could you have possibly done?
So last week I did a segment about podcasts. That segment now is called Tech Stuff.
Yes, it is.
And I'm going to do another one of those today where we're going to talk about GoPros.
Yes. Very cool.
And then we have another new segment to end it out.
Right. This is our general review segment that we've decided to call "What's This?"
What's this? And you're going to talk about the
Tomb Raider
video game.
Yes.
This is where we can review anything. It could be books, could be TV show, could be anything.
Yep. This week it's a video game, the new Tomb Raider.
The new Tomb Raider. Okay. So we did Jingles. We recorded a bunch, so you won't hear them all in one episode because we've got them for instance, last week's you did Classics of the Cinema. We've got one for that.
Yep.
We've got one or two new segments that you still haven't heard from us.
We have jingles.
We have jingles, and then there's one or two where we don't have a jingle yet.
Yeah, but we're getting there.
Well, we're going to get one. Before you hear that segment again, there will be a jingle.
Right.
Okay, so what's going on?
Well, first of all, I wanted to bring up something about Philadelphia Story, because we talked about Philadelphia Story last week. I did not mention my favorite scene in the entire movie.
Oh.
How dumb is that?
I don't know. Why didn't you do that?
I don't know. It just, it plagued me all week long until we came back and did this. There's a scene in there where Cary Grant goes up and pushes Katharine Hepburn straight to the ground by her face.
Okay.
He grabs her face and pushes her straight to the ground. It's hilarious.
Why would you do that?
Well, because she's breaking.
One-handed
they're divorcing.
Or one-handed on the face?
Well, okay, they're divorcing. She breaks his golf clubs over her knee.
Well, she's got a strong knee.
Exactly.
Are they wooden clubs or metal clubs?
They're wooden clubs.
Well, I can do that.
Exactly. And then so he runs up. He makes a fist like he's going to punch her in the face. Realizes, I probably shouldn't.
Shouldn't punch a woman.
So then he just grabs her face and pushes her straight to the ground
with one hand.
One hand. She just goes like a board straight down to the ground. It's one of the two funniest instances of spousal abuse in the cinema.
What's the other one?
In the movie Public Enemy, when Jimmy Cagney smashes a grapefruit into Jean Harlow's face. She says something to him, and he looks at her and just goes.
What about The Godfather?
I don't.
The Godfather 2.
Right, no, I know what you're talking about, it was a boy, Michael.
That one's, I don't think it's funny, but it's become funny to you and me.
It's become funny to you and me.
When he just does his...
Because
he slaps from across the room.
Yes. But I'm talking, these were made to be funny.
Yeah. They were supposed to be funny. Right. Yeah, you're right. The Godfather is unintentionally... No. And it's not funny when you watch it and you're serious about it. It's just when you want to make fun of it later.
Correct.
It's hilarious. I have this YouTube video that I'm sure many people have seen. I don't think you have.
Okay.
But it is the funniest thing ever. And it's these goats screaming like humans.
Oh, goating! I've heard about this. I haven't seen it.
They just make human noises. That one's making normal noises. The other one's yelling like a person. But it gets better. There's just... This one's my absolute favorite right here.
That is a goat.
he just screams like it's almost like a Wilhelm scream.
Okay, we need to isolate that sound so that it can be used in this podcast. Yeah.
I thought you'd enjoy that. I find that to be one of the funniest things I've seen in a long time.
You should have showed that to me before.
I didn't want to. I thought it'd be funnier if I didn't.
Well, that's fantastic. What does a goat have to scream like that about?
And the look on its face is just standing there like, I'm just going to scream this. I have no reason to do it.
It doesn't look imperiled at all.
Anyways, this thing's got 12 million hits, so I'm sure everyone who's listening has seen this. And if you haven't, then you've missed out.
I've heard that they've taken some of these screams and put them into songs.
Yeah, the Taylor Swift song one is pretty darn funny
that's the one that they wrote about in Time magazine. Because
it's that scream. Let me see if I can pull it up really quick.
All right. But yeah, no, I guess it's a meme now. It's called goating.
Yeah, they've taken from that video and made goats sing to it.
Right. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, this is. Let's see.
Which is interesting because I'm actually working on a show right now with a guy who is obsessed with goats.
Oh.
Yeah.
What?
And I think that's a strange obsession.
Well, here's the thing about goats. I got something to say, but first listen to this. That's what they do.
That is ridiculous.
That's just happening everywhere. Anyways, okay. I like goats.
I like goats fine.
My girlfriend and I like goats, but we've liked goats for like 2 years.
Right.
Now this is a thing. So I feel bad about liking goats now because now everyone has to like goats.
Well, it's like how we felt when Pirates of the Caribbean came out because we've loved pirates since we were little kids.
Yeah.
Reading Treasure Island.
Well, a lot of people love pirates.
No. For a long time, pirates were out. Pirates were out, and then everybody in the world loved pirates because Johnny Depp showed up and did a really good pirate.
Yeah.
But
he's not even my favorite part of that movie.
He is my favorite part.
I know.
He definitely is.
But yeah, it's a thing now.
Well, see, I've always liked goats too, but that's just because when my dad was younger, he had a goat.
Yeah.
So I grew up hearing wonderful stories about goats.
Yeah. You should. You should like goats.
Yeah, they're fine.
Mm-hmm.
They've got square eyeballs. Not eyeballs.
Oh, that's what's weird.
Yeah.
The rectangular shape pupils.
I could totally see why people thought that goats were of the devil.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But, so I am not ashamed to like that because it's hilarious.
It is.
But I don't like now goats are like everywhere and everyone wants to like a goat. And I'm like, but now I should find something else to like because everyone likes
No, you stick to your guns.
You don't want me to go hipster?
No.
Okay.
I want you to stick to your guns about
goats. Stick to my goats?
Stick to your goats. Because
I'm not going to let someone get my goat.
That's right. Because about 4 or 5 months from now...
Oh, that's true. It'll be gone.
It'll be gone, and you'll still like goats.
That's true. I get the satisfaction of still enjoying goats.
Yes, because you always have.
Yeah.
And you always will.
Well, think about if you have a lawn and a goat, you're never mowing it.
That's right.
Yeah, that's the main thing for me.
Yeah, I never thought about that.
The downside is if you get one of those goats, your neighbors are going to hate you. If you just get a goat that screams all day.
You're going to hate it because in like the middle of the night...
Oh, that's true. It'll sound like someone's being murdered.
Oh, no. Honey, what's wrong? It's the goat.
It's the goat. The other thing I wanted to touch on was that last episode we ended, people may have heard, we did not use the Texan Diego music.
No, we didn't.
We used little Taking It to the Streets.
Yes, we did.
And that was, in fact, the title of said episode. Really, it's just because Austin and I have a strange fascination, whatever you want to call it, with this song. It's just a Doobie Brothers song that everyone's heard, but you and I, for some reason...
It's because it's great.
There's just,
It's just a great song.
It's just good.
And it's about important topics. It's about taking it to the streets.
It's very important.
Sometimes that's what you got to do.
Yeah, it is. And
then he's just trying to get the word out that guess what? We're taking it to the streets. You don't even know me.
You don't know me.
But I'm your brother.
Yeah.
See?
So you join me on the streets.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And it's an inclusive thing. It really, it's about America.
It's about America?
Yes.
Okay.
We as a country need to take it to the streets.
Yeah.
And
do brothers. We? Oh, back then.
Back then.
In the 80s.
It's
the 70s? Late 70s or something?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's this...
Plus it's got the fabulous singing of Michael McDonald.
It's got that. And then really it's this one part that has captured our imaginations. It's when he brings it back around right here.
He brings it back around
right
and
here.
adds... Oh. Here it comes. There it was.
That was it.
It's the...
There's something about that Austin and I can't get enough of.
Yeah, I think it's... Yeah. It just shows how much music is coming out of that man. It just pours from his soul. That even when he doesn't have something to sing, he's got to sing something.
Something has to come out. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just got more than this song can hold.
Yeah. So, anyways, we just wanted to explain
a little bit
why you may have heard that, and why from time to time one of us might just.
Yeah, that will.
It might happen, and maybe we'll use it as a song again. Who knows? It's great. You should enjoy it as well.
I think so. And check out all of the Doobie Brothers and Michael McDonald's catalog. Yeah. Because it's just full of gems.
It is. It really is. All right. Anything else?
Well, I did want to quickly touch on my. I have these observations that I make all the time.
Yeah.
The pictures that come in picture frames.
Oh yeah.
Do we need them?
Yes.
Why?
Because.
What? No, hold on. You're telling me we need.
I'm not telling you anything yet.
No, just there's a picture that comes in the picture frame of some blah 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 family, just some vanilla family. Just,
yeah.
And they all look like there's probably severe problems in that family.
What?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Anybody who looks at
sometimes it's just a couple on the beach having a great time.
Right. What I'm saying is, if you walked into a store and there wasn't a picture in the picture frame, you'd be like, I don't know what that is.
I don't know how many people I can fit in the picture that goes in this. That's what I'm saying. If there's a family of 4, now I know my 8x10 with 4 people certainly going to be fine.
I think you have a lack of understanding of how picture frames work.
I think you have a lack of appreciation for how dumb people are. I feel like there's people who need that to go, well, my picture looks just like that one. I should buy this picture frame. And I think the people who make...
people need that?
I think the people who make picture frames know that people will respond like that. And they're like, oh, my picture is similar to that. I should get this frame.
That's so disappointing, though. Like, you can't pick out a frame unless you're seeing what a picture looks like in it.
You've never brought your picture to the frame place? I do that all the time.
I do that all the time, too.
Yeah.
But I'm saying...
hold it right up. Maybe for some people it's a narrowing down. They're like, okay, well, these ones... because of the picture in them, I like it. Now I can hold up my picture to these 4 and decide which one's best. I'm just.
You're playing devil's advocate. I appreciate that. If that is true, then woe. To humanity.
Oh, humanity's in a sad state of affairs.
Yeah.
Regardless of the picture frame.
I'm just saying. I think you should be able to pick out a picture frame. Like picture in your head. What would a picture look like?
Yeah.
In there? Without.
What I want to know is, how do these pictures get produced? Are they literally just stock photos that the marketing people go, or are there picture frame photo shoots happening out there?
I think there are. I think there are picture frame photo shoots, and to that end, I think that somewhere, almost every day, someone's walking into a store and going, "Oh, hey, look, there's my picture in that."
Oh, that has to be happening, which is weird, because then you flip to the next one, your picture again.
Now, for those people, I can see how that picture would help them figure out if they want that picture frame.
That's true.
Because like
I just buy that frame and leave it and put it on my shelf, even though it said like 8x10. It
doesn't matter.
Even though it had the marketing info with my picture,
this frame looks really good with my eyes. I know because I'm in the picture.
I am the picture they've chosen.
I'm the picture
demo
family.
Frame. Yeah,
the picture family.
But do you think they're like? Are they using green screens at this day and age, or are they? Because they don't look. They could be, though. They're good with Photoshop. I'm just thinking, are they economical about it? Do they get like 12 people
go to a house
and stand in front of a green screen and just be like, hey, everyone do a bunch?
Or are they just Photoshopping families together?
Or are they like driving out to beaches and stuff and being like, let's take one?
I think they're driving out to beaches.
I feel like they are, too. I don't know why.
I think maybe that's just because that's what I would do.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like, I don't know. But you're right.
I don't know. I just don't like it, and
I'm for it. Because what else are you gonna have in there? A piece of cardboard?
Nothing. It's a frame.
It's just the back of the frame. It's ugly. That's not gonna help sell your frame. Come on.
You could type information in there. What size the frame is?
It's just a white sheet of paper with info on it.
Yes. Maybe
I like the
pretty
picture.
flower design.
I'm trying to. I understand the problem, but I'm thinking of the alternative, and I'm saying, The pictures.
Why not pictures of nature then? Pictures of flowers.
Well, there's some with those.
I don't. Maybe my problem is I don't like the people in the picture frame.
Well,
pictures.
that's just
they're
because
promising
they
me a happiness that I'll never have.
Well, right, and it's always like a guy with his sweater tied in a knot around his neck. And
I'm always like, you, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
You're perfect picture frame, picture family.
Yeah, I know. Picturesque.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
Like, you know what your family pictures look like. You never see pictures like that.
I got one. We got one.
Oh, yeah. Everybody has one.
We got one that looks like it.
That just, here's our phony picture of our family. We're never like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know?
Because you went to like a studio that one time.
Right.
Yeah.
When you were 12.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
You're never an adult with your parents in these pictures.
It's true.
Yeah.
No, I thinking about the alternative, I'm for it now.
I've talked you into it.
Yes. When I thought...
By being against it, I've talked you into it.
I was kind of against it just on principle, but now when I think about what the picture frame store would look like without people in those frames...
Picture frame store?
Well, like, yeah, there's picture frames in the store. Where do you buy your frames?
I mean, you can get them from anywhere.
Yeah, but the picture frame section.
Okay.
Either way, that just barren with just frames in white and black print. I'd rather...
I think that would be less distracting and allow you to focus on the frames.
Oh, so now we're getting into some sort of psychological problem with you. You can't focus on the frame.
Well, because I'm looking at these people and I'm making up stories about these people.
Well, that's not...
I'm assuming what
that is not their problem. That is your problem, sir.
I seriously doubt I'm the only one with this problem.
I'm not making up stories.
I am, all the time.
Although I do this move. I don't, for some reason, I can't throw that piece of paper away. I just flip it upside down and I flip it backwards and put my picture over it.
I throw it away.
I do not throw it away.
I crumple it up and I throw it away.
I feel like me turning them backwards and then putting my picture in front of them could be the opening premise of a horror movie.
Oh, I would watch that.
Like the people in the picture frames are going to murder you.
That horror movie's called Picturesque.
It's called Picturesque, and they're going to come out and murder you.
Well, slowly they take over your family. Each member of your family
starts turning into them.
Right.
Because you didn't take that out.
Right.
Yeah. One day it's a picture of like you and your mom and your dad, and then your dad's been replaced with the guy.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you show up one day and you have a dog you didn't know you had.
Right.
Because it's in the picture.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And everything's just a little too perfect.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's a little Truman Show at a certain point. This is a good movie.
I like this. We probably shouldn't have podcasted this.
No.
We should have kept this to ourselves.
Somebody else should make this and then give us story credit.
Yeah.
That's what should happen.
All right. And pay us the money that goes with that.
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So wait, you never make up stories about the people in the picture frames? You ever look at an airplane and imagine an old man sitting next to the window and make up a whole story about where he's going?
Like on an actual plane?
Yeah, you look up in the sky, there's an airplane flying by, and you make up a story about someone who's on that plane.
No, sometimes I think about what would happen if it just fell out of the sky.
Well, that's morbid.
Like, would it hit me? Am I okay? Am I safe where I'm standing? That kind of stuff.
Okay, we all have those thoughts. I'm talking about making up... Apparently, I make up too many stories.
No, I don't. I make them up when I'm, like, I determine that I'm going to make up a story and I make it up. But when I'm looking for a picture frame, I'm able to focus enough.
Well, I can get a picture frame. I can get a picture frame.
It just takes me 12 hours. I have to go back 4 times.
I do end up sometimes getting
Sometimes you like look at one and then the story that you made up offends you, so you're not going to buy that frame.
Kinda.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. But
you're like, why did you push him down the stairs? He didn't do anything to you. I'm not buying your frame.
Yeah. I wish I could say that was not true.
Why'd you punch your brother yesterday? He didn't need to have makeup. I can tell he's got makeup on his eye.
You shouldn't have touched her there.
Now I can't put your frame in my house.
I do make up some really awful stories about the families in these picture frames. I don't know why I feel it necessary to destroy their perfect happiness.
It's just a nice wooden frame. You're like, this is perfect for the picture of us camping. And then you're like, I can't now because that family was eaten by bears. There's no way I can use this because it's all I'm going to think about every time I look at our picture. I'll think about them.
Yeah. Well, that's why I have to, if I do end up getting a frame, I crumple the picture and throw it away. Because like our...
Well, that's how you avoid...
The picturesque scenario.
The picturesque scenario, yeah.
Because once you've made up the story, you don't want to turn into them.
No.
All right, so folks, warning.
Throw them away.
Throw them away.
I got to go through all my pictures now. No, I'm concerned.
You should be. You should be. All right. Well, I have other ones, but we'll save those for future weeks, like how Pepe Le Pew's a rapist.
He is a rapist.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get to our topic.
Our topic of the week.
Which does in fact have an introduction.
Oh, that's right. We have a jingle now.
Yeah.
Jingle it.
Boy, we got your topic today. Topic today to tell you.
All right.
See,
so
we got your topic today.
Okay. So our topic today is film school student films.
Student films.
Or as I like to say, film school films. Why?
Why?
Why are you doing that?
Why'd you have to make that movie?
Why do you think that that's important?
Yep.
As you can see, this is something we feel very strongly
Yeah,
about.
and okay, so let's give our disclaimer up front. I feel like we're completely qualified to say whatever we want about this.
Absolutely. I don't think we could be more qualified.
Right.
The reason for this being, we both went to a film school.
Yeah.
We both seen a lot of films.
Seen a lot of student films. Made a lot of student films. Worked on a lot of student films.
Helped write them. We did a lot of different jobs. I also was a projectionist my entire time.
Oh, so you saw more.
I saw
than the
every
average
student film
Yeah.
that was made.
Yeah.
At every grade level.
I'm so sorry.
I am too. But let me tell you, I am now in a position where I can tell you what is good and bad about student films.
Yes.
We had, let me just quickly get this out of the way. We had a grading system, a scoring system up in the booth amongst the projectionists. And we would grade it 0 through 10.
Okay.
Now, nobody earned a 0 unless
you didn't, wait. Yeah, how did you earn a 0?
Well, you had to earn a 0, you literally had to have a movie that was both incomprehensible and unfinished. That's a 0. You don't have a film.
It's not anything. It's just a series of shots.
Right, exactly. You took some pictures. Thank you.
Yeah.
Nobody ever earned a 10 either, though, because nobody's perfect.
Yeah, nobody should earn a 10.
I've given out 9s.
Yeah.
And if you got a 9,
Yeah.
you were jazzed.
Yeah.
I've given out a lot of 1s.
Well, that's the problem. See, I'm guessing that you probably gave out 70% of the ones you scored were under 50.
Oh yeah, most of the student films were were 5 or less.
Yeah,
absolutely. If you got a 6, 7, or 8, people were really excited, and it was so serious because we started this my freshman year. Actually, teachers would record what numbers the booth gave each film because they
knew that you saw the entire breadth of it.
Right, we saw everything, and it would actually factor into their grade what the booth score was.
That's funny.
Yeah. That's not fair, though.
No, it's not at all.
Because sometimes, especially as the week wore on...
and you guys are not pretending to not be biased.
Yeah, and we did have special...
you're trying to be fair.
We're trying to be fair, but as the week wore on and the beers increased, certain movies may not have gotten a fair score.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go ahead and say that.
Like, screw this movie. I don't want to watch it anymore.
But there was one rule, and I hold this true to any bad movie today. Know this. Do this. I guarantee you people will enjoy your film. If after your horrible movie, at the very end, for no reason whatsoever, a person just explodes.
Just literally blows up.
Literally blows
like
up chunks that just...
Okay. Then you win. It moves your score up like 4 points.
You automatically got a 9.
Oh, okay. An automatic 9.
Yeah. Now, nobody ever did that.
Oh. Well, I would give that a 9.
Exactly.
Just because...
You'd be like, what is this? What's going on?
Well, because it would
Holy crap.
Because it would almost be an admitting of, listen, I know.
Yeah, exactly.
I know that this did not work out, but just, you're going to love this.
How about this?
Like, how about I blow something up? Yeah. Do you like that?
How about I blow up a person in just chunks of people?
That's true.
That's how you got a better score.
Well, it's overcoming.
So if you're in film school, try that.
Yeah. If you make a movie and you're like, this is bad, this is not working, just spend a little bit extra and go get someone to blow up.
That's right.
Okay. So
maybe throw in a screaming goat.
Yeah. Oh, well, that could be the new thing. It's just if it's horrible, just at the end, cut to that goat just screaming. All right. So I think we kind of we've roadmapped this out a little bit, our discussion, so that we can stay on topic. I think what we were talking about in our first episode about show business and business being a bigger word
is very important.
Is important when we're talking mostly about like your thesis film here.
Yes.
We're not talking about your little experimental cinematography project or whatever.
No, or your
This is like the movie that you're ostensibly making to enter into films.
This is your calling card.
This is your calling card. You're going to put it in festivals, etc.
Right.
So remember that it's a business.
Yes. That basically
that they want to see what you go to see when you go to the movies. Correct.
And that because this is your audition, this is your resume, this is the most important thing you're going to do in terms of getting a real job. They need to see some reason to trust you with millions of dollars.
Right?
Yes. So if you're making some artsy-fartsy, and I'm not against art films or anything like that, but if you're making something that only you understand and it came straight from your soul and nobody understands it,
then
you failed.
Then it's not gonna work. Because they don't. Why would they give you money to make a
film that only you understand?
A conventional film.
Right.
That everyone understands.
They have no idea if you can make a film that everybody will understand.
Yes.
Now, as we'll get to a little bit later, this does not mean to ignore your own voice.
No, and it doesn't mean to not choose a topic, but it means that, hey, maybe stick to some. I don't want to make people stick to conventions, but I kind of do, because if I can't go to a
well, let's just put it this way:
if I can't go to a film festival and watch a miniature version of a Hollywood movie.
Right.
That's what you want to be doing,
yes.
Honestly, because then they're going to go, oh, this person can do this in the short form, so now I trust them to do it in the long form because
Correct.
It worked in the short form.
Correct.
And the shot choices were correct, and it cut together well. And
right. A lot of the best examples of short films that I've seen are short films that are kind of like, here's a short version. What I want to do is make this 2 hours.
Yeah.
That's how movies like District 9 and stuff showed up.
Yeah.
I've seen that work. But yeah. Do what you got to do.
Yeah.
And right on the same topic, art versus entertainment. We're here to entertain people. If you can be artistic as well as entertaining,
yeah.
Good
well,
for
see,
you.
My thing is this: everyone has agreed. I think there's a global recognition that film is art.
Yeah.
Moving on now.
Right.
I don't need to now make it art. It is art. Anything I make is now considered art.
Technically, even Transformers is art.
That is art.
But it's not made. There would be
There's a ton of art in that.
Yeah, exactly. So going out of your way to do art, I'm not saying it can't work, but I'm saying your risk of pretentiousness raises.
No, your pretentiousness level's there. Your risk of it sucking multiplies.
Okay, fair enough.
If you have the thought that this is art, I'm going to do this, and I'm different from everyone because I'm making art, then you're already the most pretentious person I've ever met.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, and probably your movie's gonna suck ass.
Ew.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
And I say this, having known a lot of people where this is exactly what
happens.
happens.
Exact scenario, yes.
Exact
people, I know a few of those as well.
Yes. Like you just go to film school with certain people who are like, hi, I'm so-and-so, and I'm going to be better than you for the rest of this shoot.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they go through life.
And then I just sit back and
then when you watch their film, you're like,
failing.
What was that?
What the heck were you talking about?
That's what that was about. I didn't even get that. Which brings us to our next topic on this is don't
make movies about that.
Why are you doing that?
Stop making these movies about subjects because it's no longer edgy, original.
Right.
It's because every single one of you does it. So
yes.
Stop making movies about rape, about teen pregnancy,
drugs,
about abortion, about drug overdoses,
suicide. Like, here is every student film I've ever seen. Okay. Young woman.
It's always a woman, yeah.
Yeah, young woman with stringy hair.
Yeah.
Gets raped.
Yes.
Well, after her birthday party.
Uh-huh.
Okay? She gets raped. She gets pregnant from that rape.
Yes.
Decides she needs to have an abortion.
Yes.
But because she can't handle the psychological ramifications of the rape, she ends up doing a lot of drugs.
Yes.
And goes on a weird trip. And there's always voiceover in these movies to tell us what they're thinking, which I still believe, for the most part, not saying voiceover can't work, but voiceover is a lazy man's way to tell you what you should be telling us in the film
visually.
Anyway. She then takes a bunch of drugs, can't really handle herself, but she ends up getting the abortion.
Yes.
Feels so bad that she does more drugs, slits her wrist in a bathtub after seeing one last perfect sunset.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you got to see that, and you're right, it has to be in the bathtub.
And then we're going to play some Radiohead music and it's over.
Now you're correct. That is probably the Uber one of these. Like,
yes.
Most of them are some parts of that.
Right.
But that included everything.
If you're writing a student film, and I just said something that's in it,
then stop right now.
Then stop it.
Stop right now.
Stop right now. Do something about a robot.
Actually, I don't care if it's a student film or if you're just writing an independent short.
Doesn't matter. Stop it. Do something about a robot.
Or, you know what? Flip it. What if a man got raped?
There you go.
Don't throw the rest of it out.
Right.
Man was raped.
Man was raped. Start there. Go.
It's a comedy.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming.
Yeah. See?
Could it be a tragic comedy?
I mean, he got raped. So.
I think it's inherent. Yes.
No, that's my number one thing that I just could not stand is sitting through the screenings and just being like, oh, this one's about this poor girl who was raped. Oh,
yeah.
This girl. Oh, she wants an abortion.
Right.
Oh, that's all fine. But that, I don't know why you feel the need to tell that story.
Well, and
it's called Touched by an Angel, and everything on Lifetime Channel, we get enough of it.
Right, and I feel like you're doing that because you feel like you're tackling some real-world, hard-hitting issue.
Yeah.
You're dealing with the nitty-gritty of life because you watched, Apocalypse Now, and you thought that that's how real movies have to be. You have to see the blood, sweat, and tears of a human life on TV, on the screen, or you're not tackling something real. Let me tell you something, sir. You could do a story about a robot who falls in love with an alien and tell me something about the human condition.
Yeah.
And you know what? You've just done something I haven't necessarily seen before.
Yeah.
So you've both told me something I haven't seen before, gave me some human emotion, and showed me that this is something that people will want to watch.
Yeah.
Because for the most part,
and then at the end, somebody just blows up.
And then at the end, somebody just blows up. Yes, and the goat screams.
Yeah.
But when's the last time you went to the movies and were just like, I cannot wait to see the raped teenager have an abortion after drug use?
Well, that's my point. And so I guess I just thought of this. Could part of the problem be movies like Precious, based on the novel Pushed by Sapphire?
Well,
I feel like that's part of the problem. But I don't want to say don't make that movie, because by all accounts it's good. I don't want to see it.
Right.
Because I don't really...
I'm not saying there's never any time to do any of these things.
Yeah. Maybe not film school.
But what I'm trying to avoid, don't go into it thinking I'm being really edgy.
Well, I think it's the attitude. I think it's the attitude, yeah.
If you're writing a story and you realize, you know what really needs to happen here is that this person needs to get raped.
Yeah.
I would never find...
I probably would not write a story where that was the case. But
they're out there, you may need to write that. That's fine. That's fine. But if you're going into it like, I want it to shock people. I want it to knock them back in their seats.
It's not going to work.
It's not going to work.
Because
everybody had that thought, sir.
Everybody's seen it all.
Everybody had that thought.
And they've seen it all done better than you're going to do it, honestly. Let's be honest.
That's true.
Because you're not going to get, well, unless you're already some star of some kid, you're not going to get celebrity actors.
Right.
You're going to get first-time actors or people trying to make their way in the business, which are great. Sometimes you can find great actors.
Absolutely.
But to throw all your eggs in that basket and depend on them to do some high emotional, like I just took too many drugs scene, like I don't.
You said that like a grandpa. I took too many of the drugs.
I took too many of them drugs. I think that's probably not the best way to go.
Well, yeah, you gotta tailor your script to what you know you can get. Yeah. And on the topic of kids of celebrities, I've never seen a child of a celebrity use their parents as a star.
I know.
It's always like they're hidden in the background somewhere, and it's fantastic.
Oh, you like that?
I like that.
I just feel annoyed because I feel like one of two things happened. Either the kid went, well, I'm not going to use him because, I'm trying to make my own way, which I'm like, you're an idiot. Use him.
Use him.
Or the parent was like, I'm not going to be in your student film. And I'm like, why not, you dick? You're a star.
But I always wanted to see, like, I always wanted to get to, like, Tom Cruise or something like that and have him just buying a hot dog in the background. Like, the main action's going on and Tom Cruise walks by, buys a hot dog, walks out.
See, if I had access, I would just use them. I'd be like,
no, you're right. I think I would think that until I got Tom Cruise. I'd be like, well, we're rewriting the movie now.
Yeah.
I have Tom Cruise.
So, yeah.
But on that note, go get actors.
Yeah.
You also see a lot of student films where I'm just going to use my friends.
Oh, yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that. I'm assuming if you're at a film school, then there's a theater school within spitting distance of where you're standing.
Yeah, and I say go outside of that too.
Certainly. there's Backstage West and all sorts of things you can put postings in. But at the very least, you have a whole group of actors who are 10 feet away from where you are who want nothing more than to act.
See, that was not the case, at least at my film school. These people were not super psyched on being in films because they were theater people.
At my school, they were all about it. Oh. They wanted to do everything. If you had work for them, they'd do it. Theater, film, didn't matter. They wanted to do it.
I didn't. Yeah, I felt like the people were a little bit more attitudey. Like, well, theater's theater. It's a cut above.
Theater's the actor's medium.
Yeah, and I'm like, theater's the over-actor's medium.
It can be. It certainly can be. But at least try. Go talk to the actors. You'll find the good ones.
Don't
the
use
people
your
who truly want to be actors.
Yeah.
Which we'll talk more about in Working Actors. The people who truly want to be actors will show up.
Yeah.
And want
The
to
other
be
thing that I see in and not all of them, because obviously nothing applies to everything, but I see because of that, there's people using people that are too young for roles.
Oh yeah, don't
like
do that.
you can get some old guy, you can get some people who are older who just want to be in some stuff. They're
Cast
easy to
age
find.
appropriate.
So get the ages, even though you're young and it's a student film. Everybody knows that.
Right. Don't
hide the fact that it's a student film.
You immediately discredit yourself when you lose production value by not casting age appropriately.
Yeah.
You immediately discredit yourself because that's high school nonsense. When you're making films with your friends and you put them as an old man, or you cast your best friend who plays water polo as an old woman.
Yeah. That's high school.
That's high school.
Which is fine for high school.
Right. But
now you're working with budgets.
This is your career on the line. Make it good.
Yeah.
To that end also, I'm assuming if you have a film program, you are surrounded by people with ideas.
Yeah.
No one person is such an auteur that they deserve to not have to consult with anybody. But let people read your script. Let people help you. There are writers. My school had a whole program just for screenwriters. Go to them. This is what they do. Let them help you write it.
Yeah.
Because you are not that good a writer.
No.
Nobody is. There's nobody, even in Hollywood, I shouldn't say nobody. There's very few people who are writing everything all by themselves. They're letting somebody read it.
Yeah.
They're getting some help.
They're getting feedback.
Yeah.
And at a minimum. If not having people come in and rewrite sections for them.
Right. And write about what you know. Research what you know.
Yeah.
So you know what you're talking about.
If you're in your class and you guys are doing, let's say it's your thesis class, and you guys are everyone's got to come up and read their script for the class. Like, that's what we had to do. And I assume that's pretty straightforward.
Yeah,
it's like because you're starting at the beginning of the semester developing it. Everyone's shooting, right around Christmas time or between November and February. So the first part of class is, all right, pitch your ideas. Okay, let's talk about them. Okay, let's read your scripts if you have them. Okay, cool. If you're hearing from the teacher or anyone else, I don't really get the point, or I don't know what was happening in this scene, do not go, well, you just don't get it.
No.
Like it's because I haven't, when I made it, you'll understand it. Nope,
they won't.
No, they won't.
No, they won't. Shut it down.
Shut it down, rewrite it.
Yep.
Fix it, because if they can't read it, then your actors can't read it.
Right.
Your crew can't read it. If you're the only one who's in on the secret of what's going on right now, then you're failing.
That's correct. You're right. They don't understand you. Fail.
Yeah, because you're not understandable. It's not their problem, it's your problem.
That's correct. Absolutely. You can have the weirdest, most bizarre ideas, but everybody here needs, unless you're going to make the film literally all by yourself. You are the writer, the director, you're shooting it, you're starring in it, and there's nobody else in it. You are literally a one-man film crew. And I guess good for you, but good luck. That is the only time when you can say, I guess they don't need to understand it, because you will also be the only person who will watch it.
Yeah.
If that's the case.
Yes.
And I just thought of something. I just talked about get help writing it, and write about what you know and stuff. I got an idea.
All right.
If you've been raped, you can write a movie about
rape. Yes.
If you've overdosed on drugs, you can.
If you've killed yourself.
If you've at least attempted to kill yourself,
you can
write about it.
Yeah.
Okay, if you had an abortion, now we can write about it.
Yeah.
I guarantee you your perspective on it will change. It will not feel as edgy.
Yeah.
And you'll have something to say about it.
Yeah.
I think that's a good rule to have. If you've been raped, you can write about that.
Go ahead. Yeah. If it happened to you, you can write about it.
Yeah.
And that's not the case for everything, because if you want to write a freaking sci-fi fantasy, obviously that didn't happen to you, but go ahead.
Yes, but even the sci-fi fantasy, you should have something to say besides...
Well, it shouldn't just be about the setting.
Right.
Yes. Obviously there's a story underlying.
You're trying to tell us something.
Yeah.
And ideally it will relate to something about you.
But so basically my message to you people in film school is just stop with the ego.
Yeah, get your ego out of your project and work on trying to make it good.
Yeah. Make sure everyone's okay with it, even though it's your thing and it's your special chance and blah, 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 blah. That's fine. If everybody likes it before you make it, then and you know what you're doing, then everyone's probably going to like it after you make it.
That's true.
If everybody's like, I don't know about that one, or that one scene made no sense, then guess what? That one scene's not going to make any sense, and everyone's going to be like, I don't know about that one.
Exactly. And, listen to your teachers. Because they're telling you, hey, I didn't understand that scene, or you should take that scene out. That does not mean that you have to do exactly what they say.
Yeah.
But consider what they have to say. Consider what the problem there is. And even if you find your own way to fix it, fix it.
Right. Well, there's a lot of people who I heard this all the time. Like, oh, well, that teacher, he didn't notice. He didn't know. Like, my script's not done yet. Like, he didn't know.
Right.
Well, he did. Turns out I don't care if this is an instructor who went to film school, never worked in the industry, and immediately became a teacher. They still know more than you.
Yeah.
They still have seen that many student films, however long,
And everybody's point of view is worth considering.
Sure.
Even if you decide not to use their advice, consider why did they think that?
Yeah.
Because that's what's going to happen when people watch a film.
Yeah.
You have to consider, what is my audience going to think about this? And remember that good is good.
Yeah.
Okay? What I mean by that is, if it's good, you just have to stand back and let it happen. You don't need to go, well, we only made this intent. No explanations needed.
Yeah.
You're shooting for good is good. You just put it on the screen, they watch it, you walk home. Mm-hmm. You have nothing to say about it, because everything you had to say is all on the screen.
Yeah.
That's your goal. You should never have to explain your film.
No, if you have to say something afterward, or people raise their hand and they go, well, what was this all about? Then
you probably didn't come off as...
And you know what? And a little bit of that's okay, because you're learning.
Right.
That's the point.
Yeah.
But if they just didn't get it...
then you had a structural problem.
Yeah. And especially, and actually, really, by the time you get to your scene thesis, you should be able to throw something up there and then just walk away from it, drop the mic and walk.
Yeah.
Because...
you should be able to go up there, say your name, the name of your film.
You've had the other things. You've had a million other attempts, or worked on a million things for you to have learned your lesson.
You should have, yes. Yes, you should
especially
be able to
when we're talking about something that's 10 minutes or less, probably, or 20 minutes or less at the outside.
Right, and I think you'll agree with this. If you're going to be getting a degree for this,
yes,
you should be able to put something up on the screen that is a movie.
Yeah.
It may not win an Oscar. It may not be the best film ever, because that all depends on how talented you are and how good your story is.
A number of factors.
Right, but no doctor gets a degree and is like, I don't really know how to do surgery.
Yeah. I don't really know what goes on inside someone's nose.
Right.
That part I never got.
I'm a podiatrist, and I don't really like feet.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Well, that's one of my big issues with film school in general, is that, and I guess, and the more I think about it, the more it's a problem with the arts period, as something, anything that's classified as the arts, if it's freaking claymation, whatever you call, ceramics, or film, or dance or whatever. There's this whole thing in there where people don't want to be like, they want to be like, well, this is totally
self-expression.
It's self-expression, and there's only so much of it that can be
graded,
graded and subjective, and so but I feel like there's a huge amount that can be, and I think that's the problem, especially in film schools, that I watched 9 movies in a row that were like 3 minutes long, and were just, as far as I could tell, a series of unrelated shots. And those people all got degrees the same as me.
Right, that's not right.
I don't like that. Now, it's also a problem because they've paid for it. See, they've passed all the classes, but I'm sorry, if I'm in history major and I get I fail my thesis paper, my 20-page research paper, and they go, that was crap, F. I don't get a history degree.
Right. That's the only thing I'm saying.
And there's no way to fail, as far as at my school, when I was there, there's no way to fail your senior project.
No.
You just, as long as something goes up on screen, and there were kids who didn't even show one at the screenings and still got a degree, because later on they went into the office and were like, well, here, I'm assembling it still. I'm sorry, you couldn't get it done in a year?
Right.
A 10-minute movie, you couldn't get it done?
Once again, this is your calling card. What you just showed me.
How are you going to be able to work if you can't meet the deadline that you knew of
a year in advance
when you started that year? You knew
technically
4 years of advance.
That's what I'm saying. Yes, if you knew about this 4 years,
you can't meet that deadline, really? Then sorry.
Then you do not deserve to be able to say that you are a filmmaker.
Yeah.
Because you're not.
Because you're not.
But
I just don't like that these incoherent, horrible things that make absolutely no sense, or are unfinished, or I made a trailer for it because I couldn't finish shooting it, but I have all the footage. Sorry. Then you didn't do the required assignment.
Fail.
Yeah. And I do have that problem because those people...
And if your movie's completely incomprehensible, you are guilty, sir, of artistic masturbation. You are just sitting there gratifying yourself in front of everybody.
Yes.
Forget you.
And then I
will not have it.
No, and it becomes a problem because obviously it's a workforce that I guess it kind of goes in waves, whether it's oversaturated or not, depending on how the economy's going. But it's saturated enough to where you're definitely going to compete for every job out there. Yeah. You're not just walking in and they're like, "Oh my God, thank God you showed up. No one's been calling us." Like, like you're going to have to compete for every job.
Right.
And I don't like that in the eyes of a potential employer, there's people who came out with nothing, who did nothing, and are just as qualified as me. And I guess I do have enough confidence to realize that they're not going to be able to cut it.
Well, right.
But that's the job that I didn't get to start with.
That's one more person you're competing with in a market that
you don't need that.
Right.
People who know what they're doing don't need that.
Correct. So, just to quickly recap on this topic, make something that's entertaining because it's your audition.
Yes. It doesn't have to be Michael Bay.
Right.
It just has to be entertaining. That's it. And that can be a drama. That can be any
find
subject.
your own voice. Write about what you know. Exactly. It can be anything. If they don't understand what you're saying, you're right. They don't understand it, and that's your problem.
Yeah. Have a million people read the script. Nobody wants to steal your idea. They all have their own idea that they think is the greatest thing ever.
Right. Get help. It's okay.
Yeah.
No, and you're not less of a filmmaker because
someone co-wrote it.
Right.
Who cares?
Right. Don't give them credit afterwards. And basically, you're trying to prove that you should be trusted with $500,000, $1 million, $10 million, all the way up to $500 million. That's what you're showing this film for.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're just showing it for just your own self, then make it, go home, and watch it yourself.
Yeah.
Because nobody else wants to see it.
Yep.
And if you are going to make a calling card, an audition piece, if you will, which please do that because you're never going to have this opportunity again out of film school. Really strongly consider, it's not just the don't do rape, consider what can you do cheaply that's going to sell, that they're going to want you. What are they going to want to see? What can you show? What can you prove with this? Do a comedy.
Yeah.
Do a horror.
Yeah.
Because those are the ones that will get you your start, quite frankly.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to shift over to, is based on what you've seen that's been successful, after film school. What's gone on in the festivals and what's gotten people work or gotten people recognized out there. To me, it's mostly comedy and horror.
Yeah, because they're both cheap.
And this is coming from someone who did not make a comedy or horror.
Yes.
So, there you have
Probably
it.
should have.
Probably should have done that.
Yeah.
Right? Because now comedy, I think, is the tougher one.
Because that's where you have
that requires a lot in the acting and the timing, and the writing is very...
Correct. It's hard to write comedy, and ideally if you're doing a comedy, you should be trying to say something about yourself.
Yeah.
Consider, for example, Lena Dunham's Tiny Furniture.
Yeah.
That's how she got the whole deal to do Girls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's a comedy. She had to find her own voice, and she expressed it well.
Yeah.
That's your goal with a comedy.
Yeah.
It's not to do farts and poop.
No, but I have to say that
farts and poop,
I have to say though that the ones that really, and this kind of flies in the face of, I guess, of what they want you to do as a thesis film, in that the successful ones to me are like the 3-4 minute, and it's like a joke.
Yeah.
It's like a 3-4 minute joke, boom, payoff, movie's over, audience is laughing. And comedy's a nice realm to really actually, like what we were talking about earlier, showcase the basics of movie making.
Yeah.
The
can
angles, the
technically
cuts, the timing of the cuts, all that. Like, that's a very good way to show that you can technically do it. But the really short ones that are just one joke, which I'm like, I don't know if that's even a film or just a joke that you videotaped.
Right.
They are really successful.
Depends
I don't know how I feel about them, but they are, when they're good, they're successful.
I would rather have a 3-minute film that everybody laughs at and everybody remembers than a 20-minute drama that was about abortion that nobody ever talked about again.
Absolutely. And then the horror movies, a lot of people have gotten, I know some people from my school who got jobs off of horror movies that they did.
That's what I'm saying. Horror is the ticket, man.
And horror is really the ticket right now, and I wish that we could predict what the next ticket will be, or how to...
I think it's always been horror.
Well, it has, because they find these super low budget.
Yeah.
And they love to finance them because they make their money back, even if they only make $3 million.
Right.
When you made it for $200,000,
right,
you just made a ton of money. But
everybody's looking for the next Paranormal Activity, where you spent $10,000, and now it's going to make them
$4 million. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
that's.
I'm not saying make another Paranormal Activity. I'm saying.
No, if I was in school right now, I would be trying to do that, though. I would be trying to make a super low-budget horror that I could pitch the feature version of.
Yeah,
that's probably what I would do. I wish that what I want to do, though, is be able to predict what's the next super low-budget thing. Like the horror and the whole, what do you call it? The found footage.
Yeah.
That's the thing now. What's it going to be in 2 years when that's done? What's the new kind of low budget, ultra low budget
the gimmick.
genre or gimmick or whatever? I want to figure that out so that then we can do it. That's what I want to do.
All right. Well, suggestions on that one.
Yeah, tell us what it is if you know.
If you know what it's going to be, let us know so we can get to it before you do.
So I think that's about all I have to say about it.
Yeah.
I feel like you should think about who's watching it. It's not for you.
It's not for you. Think about your audience. It's not for you. Now, with that said, of course, you have to make something that pleases you.
Yeah.
But ideally, your taste should be vetted to an audience. Mm-hmm. Okay? If the audience doesn't like it, nothing else matters. At the end of the day, if the audience doesn't like it, nothing else matters.
And if the audience is going, oh, wow, that's great. That is here. So here's the sad truth. Let me end on something depressing.
Okay.
You can have a movie that does great in your screenings. All the audience is loving it. Will not do anything after that.
That is true.
That's fine. It's good. Anyone you show it to will tell you it's good. Unfortunately, no one wants it in their festival because it doesn't fit in a genre, or it doesn't. Because that's the thing about a lot of the festivals these days. They're very genre. There's like a horror film and a family film festival, animation film festival. Animation's another way to go, too, if you're into that. So it doesn't guarantee you just because you made a crowd pleaser to get on the festival circuit, which is neither here nor there to me. Mm-hmm. Like that's a route that's like the actor's route into production,
right?
Of trying to get something you did seen and then find have lightning strike, and that one person sees it and comes up and talks to you. So I mean, the film festival route of going for a career is pretty. Your odds aren't great anyways.
No, you're just auditioning.
But if you want to go that route, then you need to maximize your chances of having a good film festival type film.
Here's my suggestion.
I didn't do that.
No, you made a good film.
Made a good film, but it wasn't
everybody
good
loves
for
it.
the festivals.
But it's a World War II ghost story.
Yeah,
so
it doesn't
what
fit.
What genre does that
fit?
What
genre do you, what kind of festival? It's not a family film. There's cussing and stuff.
It's not really even a horror film because of the way that it was done.
It's not a horror film. No, it's not scary.
No. The ghost comes back to help you.
Yeah, it's a nice
Spielberg.
ghost. Well, you know what I was thinking? It's actually, what is it? Oh, if you really think about it, it's kind of a Run, Luke, Run.
Yeah.
And I thought about, I was like, well, I really like Star Wars. I wonder if that informed it. And I was like, I'm sure it did.
It had to.
It's really an Obi-Wan Kenobi type thing.
It is.
And he's not a scary ghost.
No. Right, exactly. That's exactly what it is. As the co-screenwriter on that.
Yeah.
You're right. We did a Run, Luke, Run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that doesn't fit into a category. So it didn't do anything in festivals.
Yeah, right.
So that's my thing, is if you want to go that route, which I think everyone does, I don't see a reason to not go. I mean, try it.
Yeah.
Because if you make a good movie and it doesn't do well at festivals, you still made a good movie that's useful in other ways. And you can
still keep throwing it around. You never know who's going to see it.
So.
But, yeah, that's your goal. And I still say make a horror movie. If you're not going to make a horror movie, then marry one of Steven Spielberg's kids. God have mercy on your soul. Yeah. Find somebody rich and marry them. I don't know what to
If you're not going to make a horror movie, then just give up.
Just give up.
Just forget it. So in conclusion, we do say do what you want to do, but make sure that you can step outside of your own little world of hubris and let other people's opinions actually have a factor on it because they matter, and they're probably more like the general audience that you're making the movie for.
Oh, yeah.
And stop it with
They are the general audience. Everyone in the world is the general audience.
And stop it with these stupid, quote-unquote, edgy topics that are no longer edgy because I can just turn on Nancy Grace and hear about it every day.
Yeah.
They never were edgy either.
And unless it's happened to you, you probably
Unless it's happened to you.
Right.
Then you don't know what you're talking about.
Thank you. Thank you.
And people who have had it happen to them are probably appalled.
Yeah. It's like the people who really fight in wars. usually don't come back and tell you how awesome it was, or they don't like to talk about it at all.
Yeah.
If someone's telling you, "Oh yeah, I'm in the mafia," I can guarantee they're not in the mafia. So
it's true.
There you go.
All right, so tell us what you thought. Are we wrong? Are we assholes? Maybe both. Is there something that we didn't talk about that you know about student films that you want us to talk about? Yeah. All the above. Tell us on our Facebook page. I can tell you one
thing. We may be assholes about this.
Maybe.
But we are not wrong.
I think we're right.
So
Facebook.com/FITB Podcast. Let us know there. We want to get some feedback on there. Also, just general feedback like, what do you think of the show? Give us some ideas for future topics. I mean, we have some.
What do you want to hear about?
We want to please the crowd. So what do you want to hear about?
Unlike these people we were just talking about, we're trying to keep our audience in mind.
Yeah, and hopefully one of these people we were talking about
is listening
and will have something to say to us. I'd love to
Roth,
love to go that
if you're
way.
Listening,
Roth.
I'm serious.
Oh, okay, someone named Roth?
A girl named Roth I went to school. If you're listening to this, I'm talking about you. Right in.
All right, so let's move on to another one of our new segments by the name of Working Actors.
Working Actors. WORKING. Working Actors. All right.
That's it.
That's Working Actors.
Actually, those actors were working.
They were
like
working
a machine.
hard. That's right.
So what's going on?
Basically, Working Actors is a segment that I wanted to do because I was looking. I have a strong acting background, theater background stuff, and I was looking for ways to talk about that. And obviously, we talked about how I don't want to do celebrity gossip.
Yes.
And this is not the format to do a theater class. Like, I'm not going to teach you how to act over a podcast. If you think I can, then that will be $25,
yes.
And we will start doing personal podcast sessions. But I wanted to talk about what I call working actors. And for the first working actor, I've chosen Anna Deavere Smith. You've seen her in many things. She's currently on Nurse Jackie. But you've seen her in movies, everything from Rachel Getting Married, The Kingdom, Dave, Philadelphia. One of my personal favorites is actually The American President. She plays, I believe, the Secretary of State in that. Either way, she's very, very good. She was, for a long time, on The West Wing, and I guess The Practice, too. But The West Wing is another one of my favorites of hers. She's just very, very, very good. If you're looking for a place to actually see her work, I actually strongly recommend that you go to the TED conferences, and look up her TED Talk. It's a one woman. She plays 3 different characters.
Oh, okay.
And it's just mind-blowingly good. Okay? Now, the reason we're talking about her, the reason we're going to be talking about working actors,
explain a little bit.
Yeah, is because I feel that this is your goal as an actor.
Okay.
Your goal as an actor is not
to be George Clooney.
Right. You don't get into acting as a profession to be a star. Because being a star is all about glorifying you.
Yeah.
You get into acting to pretend to be someone else.
Because you like acting.
Right.
Yes.
Because you like acting. And you want to make money at it. You need to live. You have to make money. I'm not going to say it's not about the money. It's always about the money.
Yeah.
Show business.
Every job.
But these are people that I feel like I can hold up as, if you had this person's career, you would be beyond the stars lucky. Because Anna Deavere Smith is always working. She's always got something going on. And she obviously has made a living doing this. And she's always good. She's one of those people that I don't think a lot of people know her by name. They probably know her by face. Mm-hmm. And she's certainly...
That's what I just had to do. I just looked her up while you were talking about her.
You know,
and I went, oh, her. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And she's one of those people, like other working actors that we'll talk about in the future, that you're watching a movie, you have no idea this person's in it. They show up on screen,
and you're like, oh, that guy.
I love this person.
Yeah.
A good example of this used to be Bryan Cranston.
Yeah.
I always used to get
excited. Before
Breaking Bad, I always used to get excited about Bryan Cranston.
Yeah.
And I was like, I know about him. I know you guys don't. But we're talking about people...
It used to be Viggo Mortensen, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see him in Crimson
Before
Tide.
Lord of the Rings. Yeah.
Exactly. And like I said, I'm using her first for our first example of working actors because she's a solid example.
Yeah.
These are the things that we look for in working actors. They are always good. Doesn't matter how good or bad the project is. They're turning in a solid project. Although their name may not be recognized, their face a lot of times is. Mm-hmm. And that's more than you can hope for.
Yeah.
And that they're inspiring. If when you're looking at this person as an actor, you go, see, that's the goal.
That's the goal.
Is you want to work consistently, turning in good performances and making money.
Yeah.
That's the most you could ever hope for. I seriously doubt that Anna Deavere Smith is disappointed in herself because she's not Tom Cruise.
Right.
I seriously doubt that. I would imagine that she knows that she's one of the very few fortunate people in this world who can be very, very proud of the body of work that they have, and they've made a whole living being an actor.
Yeah.
So if you're a young actor out there or a person in film school who has actor friends, make sure that they're doing it for the right reasons. This is what you want to see.
That I think is a big point, is to do it. If you're doing it to make money or you're doing it to be headlining something, then I don't know that that's the correct goal to have.
Well, you can go into it with that goal and maybe it'll work out for you. But I feel like if you go into it with the goal of I want to work,
if you just like to act and you like to be in stuff, I think that's
I want to work.
That's how you end up. Yeah.
Right. And that's how. I guarantee you, if you ask people, I know I've heard Sam Jackson say this, his whole goal as an actor was, I want to work.
Yeah.
Now it turns out that Sam Jackson has become Sam Jackson.
Yeah.
But there's a reason why he's done more movies than anybody else, is because he just wants to work.
Yeah.
And that's really what your goal should be. That way, if you go in just wanting to work and you get that, you are successful by anybody's standards, and especially your own.
Yeah.
And if lightning does strike and all of a sudden you're Morgan Freeman,
then great.
Well, then, right.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
But now, do you think that these working actors, as you call them, are these so-called working actors? Do you feel like these are people who still audition, or do you feel like casting agents just go, "We want this person and get them"?
It probably is about.
I feel like it's both.
It is both, depending on the project, depending on the role. I'm sure she still has to audition for stuff because. Quite frankly, I don't think you should ever get so big that you don't have to audition anymore.
Right.
You know, I understand that some people are just money makers, and you're going to put them in the role because they're going to make you money.
Yeah.
That is how sometimes movies turn out wrong, because that person shouldn't be in that.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, Jake Gyllenhaal, Prince of Persia. Wrong.
This movie shouldn't have been.
Right, and maybe you had to audition for that, but shouldn't have gotten it.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I think it's probably a little bit of both. I know that if I was like, I need a strong female character who can play, well, with her, I think she could play anything. I'd be like, just call her up. Let's see if she'll do it.
Yeah.
I have faith because of her body of work and how long she's been working and everything I've ever seen her do, that she can do this. Mm-hmm. But I imagine she probably still has to audition.
I think she does, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot. There's people who, even when you see a named person in a role, they've had to audition for it. But that's good, though.
But either way,
good at it by now.
That's a segment, Working Actors, where I'm going to be holding up shining examples of what your goal should be as an actor. So go check out Anna Deavere Smith's body of work.
Yeah, I just looked her up on IMDb, and I was like, oh, it's her.
Yeah, go
I've
check
seen
it
her
out.
in a million things.
Go watch also all the movies she's in. And if you're listening to this, I'm talking about you, Anna.
Oh,
thank you. Thank you for being a good example.
All right, very nice. Cool.
All right, now you wanted to...
I got some tech stuff.
You want to talk of tech stuff?
Yeah.
You're wondering who I am.
Tech stuff. He's got some tech stuff.
Software or brand new cam.
Tech stuff. He's got some tech stuff.
With things to tell you all.
Tech stuff. He's got some tech stuff.
You're in the tech stuff hall.
Yeah, you're in the tech stuff hall.
All right.
Last week we did tech stuff. We talked about podcasting.
Yep.
This week, GoPros.
Love them.
Love them. They are something that is surprisingly, I think people would be surprised to find out how many high-end productions are using them.
Yeah.
They are, so if you don't know what they are, they're these little, they're kind of marketed for sports.
Athletic
use, extreme, X Games type stuff, skateboarders, snowboarders, things like that. They're marketed for that because what they are, basically, these little tiny boxes, they HD, they come inside a waterproof, crash-proof housing.
They're awesome, yeah.
And you then they sell 1 million mounts for them. So you can get all these ridiculous shots that you'd never be able to get. And it's a fisheye lens on it. So
Although they have other lenses, right?
They don't have other lenses, but you can set the lens. There's different settings on the lens.
Okay.
So basically you've got... And that's the thing about it that I think is why they're getting used so much, is for such a tiny little camera, it's actually a really nice image. Mm-hmm. It's really clean. It's only auto. There's only auto iris and autofocus because it's going to be mounted in like a helmet.
Yeah.
So there's no way someone's going to pull focus, obviously. But it's really fast. The iris, the auto iris is super fast, and the autofocus, it's usually, and you're not going to use this for shooting a close up of someone anyways.
Right.
So the autofocus is kind of, just
you're using it for
in focus.
Interesting shots.
But you can take them, you can grade the shots to match your other cameras that you're using. But basically, to me, it's the cheapest underwater camera, HD underwater camera you can buy. Mm-hmm. And it's probably going to look better than the other cheap HD underwater camera you can buy. The camcorder that you can buy, this GoPro probably has a better quality image and recording than that. And
it
$300
does look beautiful, yeah.
Yeah, $300 and you're underwater. Whereas you could buy a housing for 3/4 the cost of the camera.
Now, is there a place where they could go and see some GoPro footage?
I mean, you can see it. You can just go to GoPro.
Yeah.
Just go to their website. They've got a million things. Now, they just came out with the Hero 3. They're all called the Hero. I have the Hero 2, but they just came out with the 3, which is even smaller, and it actually has a remote, so you can record from your hand instead of having to hit the button on the camera, which is nice when you have it mounted somewhere weird.
Right.
And there's some other features built in, but...
now, we've actually used this to do time-lapse photography as well.
Yeah.
So it's not just interesting angles.
So it does stills. You can do time-lapse type stuff where it takes a frame every certain number of seconds or whatever. You can do video, and I think there's another setting, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
It's mostly, what else you want it to do? Stills, video, time-lapse.
Right.
Time-lapses are really nice. So basically, I would say for you people making movies, one of the best uses for it, for me, is it's a cheap car rig.
Oh, yeah.
Because instead of having to rent a trailer and tow it with your camera guy standing out there, that's the one option that's expensive. The other option that's expensive is to rent a car rig. This, to me, is a third option because they've got suction cup mounts. They've got sticking...
Serious suction cup mounts.
Let me just kind of go over it. They have suction cups. They've got little kind of actual like epoxy stickery mounts. Those are what they put on like the helmet cams and stuff. They've got like basically a headlamp mount that's just straps. They've got one that you can put around your waist and have it so the camera's sitting on your chest.
All kinds of things, right.
So basically they have every mount, or you can jury rig any kind of mount to make this thing work. And there's all sorts of little articulating arms so you can angle it however you want to angle it. So I've done this before where you either, if you want on the car, like just driving around, you can just slap this thing on the side of your car and get the front wheel turning and do all those kind of cool shots. Or if you actually wanted to use it for production, you'd have to shoot non-sync sound. But you could build a little mount for it, sit it on the hood, and shoot through the windshield and have your actors drive around and just record audio inside the car and sync it up later.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a 1080p image. It's going to be a really nice one. You can probably color correct it to match whatever you're shooting the movie on. And that's like the cheapest car mount you're ever going to find.
Yeah.
Now, I guess the downside to not shooting on a trailer is that your actor actually has to drive, but to me that just enhances the performance if they know what they're doing.
Yeah, I agree.
So I would say, and they're $300, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
For what you're getting and the kind of stuff you can do with it, $300 is pretty darn cheap. You can set it so it's got fisheye, which is what you're going to see when you see the sports footage of it. But you can actually set it to not fisheye at all, and it's just a straight up 1080p image. Now, it's going to be a super wide angle because it's a fisheye lens.
Right.
But it won't have any of the bending effects, and so that's what you'd be using if you're making like a film. You'd be using the straight up 1080p image. And the other nice thing is that they have it's only $70, a little LCD monitor you can slap on the back.
So you can see what you're shooting.
So you can see the shot, because if you're helmet cam, you don't really need to. But if you're trying to use it for a narrative film, like car footage and stuff like that, you want to see the shot that you're setting up and then let it go. So they have a little LCD thing you can slap on the back that's really nice.
Okay, so you're saying basically GoPro, great for athletes, great for that stuff.
Yeah.
Great for filmmakers trying to make a film on the cheap.
Yeah, it's a good bang for your buck thing.
Yeah.
Just instead of you have your your HD camera you're shooting your film on, instead of just buying a car rig for that or renting a car rig for $400, just buy one of these for $3 and do all your shots on it. And they just take little SD XC cards. So
yeah, it does look good. I've seen it. Yeah.
It does record sound. For a film, you're not going to use it because it's inside a little crash-proof case. Now, so that's what's interesting is I worked with a couple guys a few weeks ago that were telling me that he was one of the camera guys on the off-road motorcycle races.
Oh,
they,
yeah.
Like go over all the rocks
motocross?
and the logs. Not motocross, but where they're like outside enduro.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Enduro.
Yes.
And he's like, oh, we have like 30 GoPros. And we just put them, like, we'll bury them in the ground, we'll put them in the rocks, and, like, just let people drive over them. Like, that's how indestructible they are. Like,
that's awesome.
They just bury them, and the motorcycles just drive over them, and then they get these awesome camera angles, and that's something that's showing full HD, like, on ESPN. Mm-hmm. So that's and it matches with their huge, $100,000 HD cameras. So to me, sounds
like a deal.
It's a win-win.
Yeah.
So if you haven't messed around with one, go and you can. I mean, they have them at Best Buy. Like they're at Sport Chalet, Best Buy. So go check them out. $300. The new one's really nice. It's thinner. It looks like the case has actually been hardened a little bit even more. And then they've got the new features with the Bluetooth being able to record and stop. There's a new monitor for that one since it's a little bit different of a thing. And I'm sure the stats have been improved as far as the image quality.
I'm sure, right.
So the other thing is this, especially if you're doing something. This is my personal thing. I like the look. Like certain companies of cameras have different kinds of looks. Like the video looks different.
Right.
Like the Sony cameras to me have more of like a sporty look, like higher frame.
Yeah.
The Panasonic ones look a little more like filmy type things.
Right.
This is a more of that kind of high frame rate look. It's you can do 24p, you can do 60, you can do it with the different frame rates, but it has more of that kind of sporty look, which, I mean, there's a million filters you can apply and post.
Oh, sure.
Whatever you want. But anyways, recommend it. I'm a big fan. I've used it for underwater stuff, although I do want to build a little stabilization rig for that.
That makes sense.
Which really just a steering wheel.
Uh-huh.
I've used it. I just recently, over the weekend, used it just for the first time, took it snowboarding.
Yep, you got cool footage with that,
I did get cool footage. It's not, it could have, if I had I don't wear a helmet, even though I should. So if I wore a helmet, I'm sure it would be more stable.
Sure.
I was just wearing a elastic headband, so that's why it kind of
it
shakes a little bit more.
Yeah.
But it's fun. I've never done that before, but you always see it in the X Games, so that was pretty cool. And like I said, I've used it on cars as a car rig, either just to show the car's driving somewhere as that shot, or on the hood looking back into the car, which you have to work with the angles, but you would anyways.
You should get paid by GoPro for this kind of recommendation.
I should. No one pays us anything for anything. Just
That's true, yeah.
I like it. I'm a big fan. So if you don't have one and you need something like that,
do it.
If you want to shoot underwater footage or sports photography or cheap car rig,
go do it.
Check this out as an option.
Absolutely.
That is my tech stuff for the day.
Excellent. All right.
And our last segment
is going to be a review. We call it, What's This? You've got to know, what is this thing that I have found? What is this? Red bump. Excellent. Good job, Red. Okay, so what is this?
I think this is Tomb Raider?
This is Tomb Raider.
Okay.
The video game. Now, I just want to say for the record that I played it on the Xbox 360.
Yeah.
So my review is coming from that standpoint.
Okay. I played it as well, so I can chime in.
Yeah. Basically, what we're dealing with here, Tomb Raider, just so you have an idea of what the new game's all about, it's kind of the Batman Begins of Tomb Raider. We're starting over. Everything you know about Lara Croft out the window. I'm a long-time player of Tomb Raider. I've played every one since the very, very first one. Greg is not.
No, this is the first one I've played, but I've seen you play parts of the other ones.
Correct. This one's very different than all the other ones. It's easily the best Tomb Raider game ever, in my opinion.
Okay. Even though it doesn't have the weird illogical puzzles or dinosaurs?
That's correct.
Okay.
There's plenty of time for that in the future. I really liked the way it was done, and mostly because the story was king in this. We're starting out with a young Lara Croft who's setting off to go on an adventure with a group of people. They're looking for the lost island of Yamatai. And they think it's in like the Bermuda Triangle of the East.
Yeah, that was funny. Is that something that's real?
I don't know.
The Dragon's Triangle?
The Dragon's Triangle. We should look that up.
I'll look that up right now while you talk.
But they're heading over there to go to and Lara thinks it's over here. The leader of the expedition says, oh, that's a dangerous place to go. We're not going there. She ends up convincing them all to go there. Of course, it is a dangerous place. Their boat capsizes. Now they're stuck on the island. Lara feels bad about it. Thus begins, or to put it the way the game does, a survivor is born. We get to see basically...
That was a little bit corny at the end.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, it's real. The Dragon's Triangle is real.
It is real.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Like the north of Philippines Sea kind of thing.
Oh, okay. So basically what we're dealing with here is kind of The Heart of Darkness starring Lara Croft.
Yeah.
Because it's basically, as it's this wild island and there's people on it that are trying to... I don't want to give away any plot points, but the basic general concept of it is you watch someone who becomes... part of the jungle. She herself goes from being a young woman to being a fierce warrior, almost an animal.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying it's Heart of Darkness starring Lara Croft.
Yeah.
And it works. It works. Graphics. Greg, why don't you give us a little what your thoughts on the graphics were?
I thought they were good. I thought it had a weird kind of throwback look sometimes where it looked like old PlayStation Tomb Raider. It was, I don't know what it was, if it was like the way they were rendering the textures or something. But no, I would say they were top notch for this generation.
Yeah, and most importantly to me, the vistas that they gave you every once in a while were awesome.
Yeah.
They did a good job with the clouds in the sky.
Yeah.
And the weather system, because weather is a huge factor in this game.
Yeah.
The weather system was good.
Pacing was quite good as well.
Pacing was fantastic. Mechanics-wise...
Yeah, I liked it. It was good.
Yeah, the platforming worked really well. I rarely had what I call the Assassin's Creed dilemma.
Yeah.
Which is... Right.
Yeah.
Where you're telling it to do one thing and it just flies up.
Although I did have that recently on that game. I was just trying to collect a couple things and I could not get her to go to it.
Oh, see, I've never had...
But that was the only time.
Right.
Whereas in Assassin's Creed... That happens all the time.
You just come to accept it.
Yeah.
That's going to happen. And combat-wise, I really like the combat in this. That was one of the things that made it better than any other Tomb Raider game, was that the combat was excellent.
Yeah.
The combat was excellent. And then, the story is fantastic. It made me feel very much nostalgic for my young days playing the original Tomb Raider. It brought back the way I used to feel when I played the original Tomb Raider, in that, hey, I'm going on an adventure.
Yeah.
Because you've always wanted to be Indiana Jones. That's what these games should do for you.
Yeah, there's a lot of Indiana Jones stuff in this.
Absolutely. That's why I was saying calling it The Heart of Darkness meets Indiana Jones. That's what we're getting here. And it very much, I'm sure people compare it to Uncharted.
Oh, yeah.
In that it is an interactive action film.
Yeah.
And it succeeded, I thought, on those counts. Sound, music was great. Final grade from me, I'd give it an A+. I just enjoyed every aspect of that game. I know people have probably had some problems with it, but when I played through it, I never thought, I wish it didn't do that. Yeah. No. Every minute, I was happy.
All right, good. Tell us what you think. If you are someone who plays video games and played this, tell us what you thought of it. And if you don't like video games, then...
watch someone play it.
Yeah, you could have turned this off 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a weekly thing, obviously.
No.
But that was a good start to our What's This segment.
Yep.
To talk about things that we are out there.
Yep.
And then tell you
could be books, could be anything.
Tell you what they are.
Mm-hmm. So, basically, just let's wrap this up. Next week's topic...
Next week's topic, we're doing CGI.
Yes, pros and cons. What's good about CGI, what's bad about CGI, how it's affected us, and how we've affected it.
Oh. Oh, a twist.
There will also be a Classics of the Cinema next week.
Yep.
Animation edition.
Animation classics.
Yep.
And we'll have some other stuff for you, too, obviously. So that is our show for this time, number 3.
Go review us on iTunes.
Remember all the things. Subscribe on iTunes. Give us a review. That helps us out.
Like us on Facebook.
Like us on Facebook. Facebook.com/FITB Podcast.
Yep. And don't forget about the video enhanced podcast on YouTube.com/FITB Films.
And then, as always, you can always get this first on our website, fillintheblankfilms.com. And you can see what's going on with us on Twitter, or send us questions and topics. That's what we'd really like you to do.
Yes.
Send us questions and topics, Twitter or on the Facebook page.
Right.
Greg's Twitter, that's me, GPL Films.
Mine, Austin, is AustinJD14. And
that is episode 3. And we will take it to the streets.
Yes, take it to the streets. You too, folks. Take it to the streets.
Everybody take it. And we'll see you next time.